Yeah, okay, so here recently, I was driving my Buick F250. Oh, we were just fogging up like crazy. This is why you don't do this straight out of the air condition. Okay, so we're just gonna deal with it. Now, recently I was driving my Buick F250. It was the 4th of July, and I was going to a party. I was going to do some burnouts on a legal pad, not on the state road. Anyway, so I was doing that, and I was just driving along. You know, oddly enough, I was driving along past the cop shop in my local town, and this thing instantly died. Our motor seized. I couldn't turn the battery, or I couldn't turn the motor over with the key. I couldn't get up inside here and try to crank it with a wrench or anything. It was not moving. Oh, by the way, I silicone this shut. This is seam sealer I put on there, and I gotta redo this one. I gotta redo this down here because it sort of slid out a little bit, but that is because there is a sensor inside of here to where if this pulls out and the air isn't going through there correctly, it kills it. It like knocks the motor down to 4 cylinders. It's, or at least half of them, 5, 4, 5, whatever half of 10 is. I think it's 3. So when I first got this truck, I noticed that there was a clink in it, and it wasn't a knock, it was a clink. And come to find out, it was actually from this pump right here. Where we got? Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. So right behind me here we have the Buick F250 with the Ford V8 inside of it. Wait. No, it's a V10. We have the Triton V10. Piece of crap. That pulley right there locked up and completely seized the motor. She ain't turning no more, boys. So that pulley ended up being the AC compressor, and they just happened to make a kit that I can delete said compressor for about $300 less. I got that thing for 40 bucks, and I found a kit for 300. Or sorry, I found this kit for 40. The AC compressor itself with everything with it is $340. And I am cheap, so I went with the cheap route. Now, with that being said, I don't know how to get this son of a gun off of there other than the 3 bolts that are down there. 2 10mm bolts and 1 13mm, which you need to get with a wrench. And then to get the line off of it, that's the 14 socket. You just got to wiggle it out of there a little bit to get to it. All your antifreeze and coldness is going to come out of the system. Come up here and crack this, which is a 13 deep well. This one right here. Crack that son of a gun all the way up till it starts spraying antifreeze all over the motor, and then the car and Batmobile next to it. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt anything. Go ahead and continue taking it off the rest of the way, while also continuing to get antifreeze all over yourself and very expensive camera that your girlfriend bought you. You'll place that up yonder there where you will continue to forget it. Again, I don't know how to take this off correctly. I did not look it up on any YouTube. I didn't read the directions, and I also didn't Wikipedia it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the lines off, bring the whole compressor up here, place it here carefully in this about area, put my kit in its place down yonder undercarriage, while hooking these lines back up, leaving said compressor right about this area here, just out of the way so I can close the hood. That way all the lines work. If need be, my AC probably will not that I care. It's just that, you know, the lines go into the radiator and your cooler and your cooler or whatever you want to call it. It's not the radiator. I just don't want to mess and dick around with that, so I'm just going to hook it back up, throw it under here. You know, 20 pounds of weight ain't going to cause any difference for me. Actually, it's going to help by weighing the front end down and getting them babies spinning back there. It all looks good on paper. Underneath the here, you got this little pluggy doohickey, which I can't focus on. Anyway, you get the gist. That doohickey thing, my camera's dying, gets hooked up inside of there somewhere. You gotta unplug it wherever it's at. You got 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. Unplug down, plug your new pulley in there, and we'll get to it when I get my camera charged. But I went ahead and got that, and what it is it's literally just a pulley on a bracket that line up with these holes, and there's also another one right there. Right there. So that lines up with that, and it gives you different bolts, and it gives you spacers to put inside them, and it also gives you a washer in case you need to pull that or push that pulley out to get lined up with the belt. I fortunately did not have to do that, and it's all lined up just fine. That's the alternator, by the way. I changed that in Daytona, Florida during the truck meet. It was excruciating. We've already gone over this. There's 3 bolts, boom, boom, and over there, boom. This one over here is a 13mm wrench. You need a wrench because it's lined up with the I-beam underneath of the motor, and it's just ridiculous to get to. And even when you get it loose, you can't get it out. You have to undo your belt and then wiggle it out. These are 10mm. You can use a socket on those. This is a 13 deep well. This is a 14, which you don't need to do that, but you don't have to, but this will let all your air pressure out of your AC unit. This is a 10 mil. And then when you undo this one here, that allows you to take this bracket off, which holds your lines, this line and this line, to your compressor, which pumps it all through there, comes up into this big line down inside of there. And the reason why, now you don't have to do this. I don't know if you have to do this or not. I'm pretty sure you don't. This is just how I did it to make my life easier. I took this off and I took these off. The reason why I took this one off was to allow the air pressure to be removed even quicker, and I just popped it up, loosened it up, wiggled it off, and just let everything spray. So now I got antifreeze all over the motor. The reason why I put this back up here after I got everything done and off of it is because, to be honest, I don't know if this is going to sit here and pump through here. There's a good chance it's not, because this isn't being worked. So in theory, it's not being pumped. I'm just not going to risk it. I don't give a shit. It looks cool up here. I got to pull this line up out of the way for the serpentine belt. It's super easy to work on. I was extremely surprised. Seriously, the hardest part about this whole thing is getting to your tensioner. Your tensioner is right there. That's your tensioner right there. And you got to shove your hand in between this fan and the motor itself, and you got to do it from underneath, and then at the same time you got to have somebody up here pull the belt off because you can't do it both. I mean, you probably can, but it's ridiculous. Oh, and also there's a plug underneath the wire that goes, I guess you could say, over or under, whichever way you want to look at, over or under the AC compressor pump that you have to unplug, and it's shoved up inside there, and you got to get your finger on that clip and pull it down, and then remember to hook it up because then your fuel doesn't work. But other than those two things, it's super easy to get out, super easy to work on, and honestly, I've never done it myself. I've never had to change one of these. I've never owned a V10 before in my life, so I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going in at ham. So, you know, unexperienced, it took me an hour, and that's unplugging everything and hooking it back up. And then I went ahead and just put the serpentine belt back on by hand. I just yanked it up and put it back on there. Super easy.